Tennis, Alex Eala included in star-studded playing field at BNP Paribas Open. Manila, Alex Eala is included in the star-studded roster of participants at the BNP Paribas Open scheduled for March 4th to 15th. The BNP Paribas Open, an outdoor WTA 1000 event played on hard courts, is taking place at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden in Southern California. Eala joins defending champion Mira Andreeva, Elena Rybakina, the 2023 champ and fresh from a stunning first-place finish at the Australian Open, as well as world number 5 Coco Gauff. Also debuting at the BNP Paribas Open is world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka. Eala is currently participating in the Middle East swing at the Abu Dhabi Open, where she advanced to the quarterfinals after a stunning comeback win against Alexandra Sasnovich of Belarus, 2-6, 6-4, 7-6, 7-5. Alex Eala included in star-studded playing field at BNP Paribas Open. Tennis is a sport of passion, precision, and personality, where physical grace meets mental grit, and where dreams unfold on courts from every corner of the globe. For most players, breaking into the world's elite is a towering challenge. For a select few, it becomes a defining moment not just for themselves but for their nation's sporting story. In 2026, this moment is being written anew, and one of its brightest characters is Alexandra Alex Eala of the Philippines, now included in the star-studded player field at the prestigious BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, California. Cactus Tennis Paradise beckons. The BNP Paribas Open, often called Tennis Paradise, is among the sport's most acclaimed events outside the 4 Grand Slams. Every March, the Indian Wells Tennis Garden becomes a glittering stage where Hall of Famers, reigning champions, and ascending stars converge, men and women who collectively embody the global game's peak talent. In 2026, the event promises one of the deepest, most competitive fields in history, featuring titans like Carlos Alcaraz, Novak Djokovic, Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and Elena Rybakina, names synonymous with excellence and fierce competition. This year, Alex Eala's inclusion in the official main draw lineup carries symbolic weight far beyond a simple roster spot. It's a signal, both of her arrival among tennis's elite and of a broader shift, players from nations with little Grand Slam legacy now stepping confidently onto the biggest stages. Filipino from Manila dreams to Indian Wells reality. Alex Eala's name has become familiar to tennis fans not just because she's talented, but because her journey reflects something deeper, representation. Emerging as a standout junior, she captured the girls' singles title at the 2022 U.S. Open, a historic achievement that hinted at greater things to come. Since turning pro in 2020, Eala has climbed the ranks steadily, cultivating both technical skill and mental resilience. As of early February 2026, she reached a career-high WTA singles ranking of number 45, making her the highest-ranked Filipino in women's tennis history. It's a stunning milestone in a sport long dominated by athletes from tennis powerhouses. While her 2026 Australian Open ended in an early exit, Eala's broader achievements, including deep runs at other tour events and memorable victories, show a player on the cusp of even greater breakthroughs. Gold military medal # more than a tournament, a statement. Inclusion in a field like Indian Wells is a culmination, but it's also a launching pad. It places Eala in competition with players who have shaped the sport's modern era. Carlos Alcaraz, crafty and explosive. Novak Djokovic, one of the most decorated champions in history. Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff, defining forces on the women's tour. They represent the pinnacle of tennis excellence. For Eala, playing alongside them is both a challenge and an affirmation, a chance to test her progress among peers she once only watched. This isn't just participation, it's belonging. It marks Eala's transition from promising talent to established competitor, someone whose presence demands attention not because she's a novelty, but because she belongs on the court with the world's best. Microphone # the echo of a nation. Eala's rise has ignited excitement far beyond international tennis circles, especially in her homeland. In August 2025, she became the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam main draw match in the Open era at the U.S. Open, a historic and emotional moment that resonated deeply with fans and aspiring athletes alike. Her success isn't simply athletic. It's cultural. It's a story of representation and possibility, that a young player from Manila can not only compete but succeed on tennis's grandest stages. For many Filipinos, especially young athletes, Eala's journey is living proof that global dreams can originate anywhere, beyond the scoreboard. What makes Eala's inclusion at Indian Wells particularly intriguing is not just what she's achieved, but what she represents going forward. Tennis is a sport that blends artistry with strategy. Each rally a conversation between strength and subtlety. Each match a narrative of adaptation. Her game, rooted in agile footwork and a lefty's tactical edge, reflects this blend, but so does her approach to each new opportunity. She's spoken about the real work that begins after breakthrough results, recognizing that sustained success requires constant evolution, in mindset as much as mechanics. Her calm presence, grown over years of academy training in Europe and taxing international competition, indicates a player who has matured not just physically, but emotionally. She's learning to thrive under pressure, to adapt to elite rhythm and pace, and to approach each match with confidence without complacency. This growth mindset is as important as any service game or forehand winner. It's what keeps players competitive not for weeks, but for careers. Trophy a stage for the unexpected. One of the most compelling features of elite tennis, and part of what makes events like the Indian Wells BNP Paribas Open so enthralling, is unpredictability. Records matter, but so do breakthroughs. Underneath the polished lights of tournament courts, the sport thrives on moments when something new emerges. A player rises fast, an underdog defies odds, a nation's hopes are heightened. Eala's inclusion in this year's field is poised to be one of those moments, not because she's guaranteed victory, but because her journey invites possibility. Every serve, return, and rally she plays will be watched both as competition and as narrative. A young star testing herself, learning, adapting. At Indian Wells, legends have been made. Rising stars have announced themselves. Eala's presence in the player roster puts her in that lineage, not as an outsider, but as a contender with something to say. Tennis racket and ball tennis as a global story. Sport has a unique ability to connect people across borders. A tennis match, with its universal rhythm of points, sets, and emotions, becomes a shared language among fans spanning continents. When players like Eala take the court in venues like Indian Wells, it's not just competition unfolding in isolation. It's a moment that resonates with fans in Manila, Dubai, Madrid, and beyond. Her journey intersects with the evolving story of tennis itself, a sport becoming more global, inclusive, and unpredictable. Traditional powerhouses still command attention, but emerging talents from non-traditional tennis nations, like Eala, are reshaping expectations and enriching the narrative.